Is the DCEU making the right moves, and who can fill Henry Cavill's shoes? And even more DCE news today on The Minute. Well, hello. Welcome once again to another episode of The Minute. Today, my name is Sam, and I'm sitting down with...
I'm Asher.
And we are here to talk about more DCEU stuff, because there's more DCEU stuff to talk about.
There's more news coming out all the time. Seems like every day there's something else to talk about the DC.
Every day I just look at my phone and I just see another report about it, and it's like, again.
Yeah, another thing we got to talk about.
That's the thing. Yes, but and of course, you know, not to go ahead and not bury the lead. The big thing that's been going on is Henry Cavill possibly being out as Superman. And as of this recording, it's not official. It's just very heavily implied that's what it's looking like.
Indeed, it seems like there were a lot of. First of all, there's no Superman movie in the works in the near future, right?
And Henry Cavill's been vocal about, like, you know, not being okay with that for some time.
Yeah.
Like he wants a Man of Steel 2. He wants to do a Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, and they're doing Supergirl, right? That's the next one?
Yeah,
in
like,
the Superman, Super Universe
all
movies.
the reports that I've seen are saying that, like, the main thing is everything that's come out Superman related all says, like, down the road. Everything that's come from the studios is said down the road. And that's why. It's because they're gonna focus on a Supergirl movie.
Gotcha. So that's one element. And Supergirl, that's gonna happen when Kel is like an infant, right? So that's why,
right.
Of course, Henry Cavill's not gonna be needed at all.
He'll the character will be a baby.
Yeah, exactly. So it won't be a thing. So that's one aspect. And I know there were
baby Superman.
Hey,
I'd watch that movie.
Hey, you know, at this rate, they'll probably make that one before Man of Steel 2, but you know.
yeah,
we'll see baby Superman in action.
And another 4 Joker movies.
Yeah. And don't forget about the 5th and 6th Spider-Man reboot, which will probably happen.
Oh, man, the totally different studio.
Different studio.
And
different rabbit hole that we're not talking about now.
But what the hell are they doing, too? No, that's not what we're here to talk about. Damn it, Asher. I knew this would happen.
Sorry.
Anyhow,
that's one of the things, and the other is they were trying to make him as a cameo in Shazam, right? I think that's what they wanted to do, and that didn't work out. That couldn't work out for scheduling reasons.
Something like that, which could mean anything.
So now it's just kind of up in the air.
Could even be scheduling.
Yeah. Exactly, but now it's just up in the air whether he's going to be Superman at all in the near future.
Which is unfortunate. I really like his Superman portrayal.
Man, he sure as heck just looked and acted like what you thought Superman should be. I mean, since Christopher Reeves hasn't been Superman, it's been like, wow, that was really, really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like tell me anyone else. Like, tell me anyone else's name who's played Superman.
Not well.
I just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, most of it's been TV too. I mean, it's just been the Reeves movies and the new DC
you were talking
movies.
And you were talking about Smallville. People liked Smallville a lot.
People like Smallville. Never really watched too much or got into that.
As much as I would hate to see Henry Cavill go, at the same time, like if Superman wouldn't be featured in a movie other than like a cameo in Shazam, like if he wouldn't be like a major player in anything down the pipe for another 4 or 5 years, does Henry Cavill really want to wait around and stay in incredible shape for that long?
Hey, that is a good point. I forget about how much those people have to exercise and train to play these roles.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I did not even think about that. Yeah. And after Lipgate happened, there's so much... you get your hands tied up so much. Oh, you mean
hashtag the stash heard around the world?
Yeah. Still talking about it.
Well, if you missed it in Mission Impossible 6, it actually was. It gave a great performance in Mission Impossible 6.
Well, I hope it was worth it.
The stash, it just stole every scene it was in.
But not to just keep laying into this dead horse, but that just is another example of how your hands can get tied up if you're in these giant budget superhero movies where you play a very specific character. You know, it's hard to go off and play these other roles and you're right, it's for like, because that was for Justice League, right? So that wasn't even a full-blown Superman movie, you know?
Right. It was just a movie that it featured a lot of Superman. It probably would have featured more Superman if it weren't for that. If it weren't for that they were trying to shoot around that. But I mean, then again, just that just starts to come down to what did Zack Snyder's movie look like? You know, how much Superman was in that? Then the world will never know. The world will never know. But that opens a can of worms that is the larger DCEU, just the universe, the world that they're trying to build.
And what are they doing right now? What is their game plan?
It's very confusing what they're doing right now.
As you just brought up, there's no Man of Steel 2 being talked about.
No.
You and I were talking earlier about how Henry Cavill's been. You were saying he's been vocal about how he's not super happy about.
He's been professional about it and everything.
I mean, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
He's not.
He's a nice guy.
He's not launching a war against the studio about it, but he's definitely come out and said, "Oh yeah, I would very much like to go ahead and make a sequel to this movie that we made because I really liked this movie that we made. Personally, I really liked that movie that they made. I liked Man of Steel. I know a lot of people don't, but I like it a lot.
I watched the end of it, which I know is weird, but it was just I saw the end.
Yeah, a whole lot of people in the city die, but it was just a really cool sequence to watch. I'm sorry, I don't know.
That's nice. No,
I just thought it was a good Superman movie.
I thought he was a. I've only now. I want to preface this. I've only seen the ultimate cut of Batman versus Superman.
It's the better cut by a long shot.
Yeah, I mean that's why I've never bothered really to take time. I might watch the theatrical version at some point, but I hear there's a lot less Superman in the theatrical version than in the version
and a lot less
watched.
Clark Kent.
Yeah,
specifically.
And that's my main exposure to his performance as Superman. I really enjoyed it in the ultimate cut of Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
I was like, man, he's really convincing as Superman.
Him and Affleck killed it in that movie.
Yeah,
like they really gave it their all for those performances, and it's just a shame they got done so dirty.
I know, and in the same week, we're kind of getting news about how both those actors are, for different reasons, are probably not going to be taking place in this universe anymore.
I mean, like me and Chad were just talking about this stuff with Ben Affleck. I mean, yeah, there's the rehab thing and the insurance stuff, but even before that, he was already kind of sort of on the way out
because he stepped down from being director, right?
Oh, it was
the
so
rehab
much
stuff.
Like first, he was going to be a director and also co-write, and he stepped down from all of that. He got a lot less enthusiastic about the role, like like publicly. Whenever you would see him talking about it, he definitely didn't sound as excited about it anymore. And everything that comes out about this Matt Reeves movie that isn't even in production yet, I think Matt Reeves turned in a script recently, and that's the most recent news that we've gotten. That movie is supposed to feature a younger Batman. So even if Ben Affleck were to be in that, it would be like he's narrating over flashbacks, stuff like, something like that is the direction they'd go. I'm sure that the studio's not spending the money to de-age Ben Affleck or something like that to make him look younger.
No.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. And there's been a lot of reports coming out for people who could potentially play the younger Batman. Mm-hmm. For a while, people were saying Jake Gyllenhaal, but yeah, the Nightcrawler himself.
Yeah, I was just saying, I try not to bring up Nightcrawler whenever we bring up Jake Gyllenhaal, but
it's impossible.
He decided to be in that movie.
You can't unsee it.
He decided to be in that movie,
and there's elements to his performance in that I could see, like bringing a really strong facets to the Bruce Wayne or the Batman character, especially like the Matt Reeves movie is supposed to be really noir-esque. And, I can see like just some of that darkness from that performance kind of shining through with the darkness in Bruce Wayne.
Oh, and there was darkness in that movie.
That movie's nothing but darkness.
Yeah, he could do it. He's definitely very talented, very talented actor.
But then again, he's apparently going to be signed up to he's going to be playing Mysterio in the Spider-Man sequel, Far From Home.
Oh,
yeah, the guy who wears the fishbulb on his head.
That's right.
And does a bunch of he's the special effects guy who robs banks.
That's right. When is he going to have his own movie in the Spider-Man universe?
Whenever Sony gets him back.
I gotcha. Yeah.
I'm sure they would throw something at the screen.
Just checking.
Based on what they got coming down the. But we're not talking about Sony.
I know we keep getting off on rants on different
we're not talking about Sony. We're not going to do it.
All right, we're going to go back to DC. You were saying earlier, I don't know if you want to go back into this, about kind of the interesting kind of choice of movies the DCEU is putting out right now. Like, I mean, we've already talked about how Man of Steel 2 is not really an idea.
Which man, I want to see that. I want to see Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill.
And Superman is definitely like Superman and Batman are
and you
like,
can introduce Supergirl at the end of it, and then she could like have a sequel, or she could have her own movie like that sets up her origin or something after that. Like, you know what I mean?
Be perfect.
I don't know. I don't know. Just to me, that's something that Marvel might have done, because Marvel, they've built this whole universe, right? And ever since they first started it back with Iron Man, like it's just gone down without a hitch. And with the DCEU, it's nothing but hitches.
More hitch than road at this point.
It's more hitch than road.
It's just that's just the way it goes. I mean, you even feel bad for them because Marvel, it's like they can't do any wrong. And look at this year with Black Panther. Not only do they make a badass movie, but they're getting celebrated for open cultural doors.
It's like it's culturally significant and also like a box office hit. Yeah, just I don't know. And the DCEU is just kind of like, it's like a difficult girlfriend.
But she has Wonder Woman, so you're like...
But she looks... But like maybe she's like really pretty or something. And she likes the same movies.
But
But she's just really hard to deal with the rest of the time. Just makes really questionable decisions. And then whenever you say, hey, why'd you do that? She's just like, what?
Why'd I do what?
I didn't... Our relationship with Henry Cavill has always been very professional, and it just continues to be so. It's like, what does that mean?
That was their response.
That's what they said.
And Henry Cavill's agent tweeted out that the cape's still in the closet. I think that's what he said.
The cape is in the closet.
He's not wearing it.
Oh, good. Now they made Superman gay. I am so sorry.
We're sorry for all of that. But
if John cuts that, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways.
It's just so the movies they have in the pipeline right now are Aquaman's coming out in December.
I mean,
looks fun.
It's probably going to be successful enough. It doesn't look like a great movie. It looks like an okay movie that just looks really good. You know what I mean?
It looks like a fun movie. That's how
it looks. It looks like a visual spectacle of a movie. We got into this in the last one too. But we'll see like ultimately how good it does. Shazam's going to be right after that, with or without a Superman cameo.
Yeah, that looks good. I'm very interested in Shazam.
And, with or without it, it looks like a really fun movie. I'll go see it, and it looks really fun. We talked about it in the last one, but it looks better than Aquaman to me.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be like a huge box office smash because of the kind of...
They're definitely not leaning into it as much. Like they're definitely treating it more like we'll see what happens with this one. We're kind of taking a chance with it, but it doesn't look like they're spending a lot of money either. So I think that they're just kind of seeing what happens. But I hope it does well. It looks like a good movie. And then after that, I think they don't have anything else scheduled or going on that's like in production right now. I think it's Wonder Woman 1984, the sequel.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
I think that's the next one that they have coming out. And man, I mean, like, it's hard not to like that first movie. I mean, like, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a really fun ride, and it's a really cool period piece.
Mm-hmm. It was good. I had a lot of fun seeing Wonder Woman.
Yeah, a lot of really good action sequences.
Oh yeah.
It definitely like does the CGI boss fight thing at the end, but the stuff leading up to the CGI boss fight, there's a lot of really good action sequences in it. And it kind of like, it was directed by Patty Jenkins, not Zack Snyder, but it does kind of utilize that slow motion for a second. Mm-hmm. type of man, I'm tripping up on my words here.
I know what you mean, like that kind of like flow of events in a movie. They do that a lot. And there's also a lot of witty dialogue in Wonder Woman. But I mean, it makes sense that they would do a sequel, as you guys said in the last one. That was their home run in their game, was Wonder Woman. That's the one that really did it in.
That's the one that they've done really, really well.
They keep hoping for that. And now, I mean, I think they've been kind of talking about a Flash movie because he's the other member of the League and he hasn't had a movie.
It's scheduled to start production, I think, in January.
I just kind of...
So it'll probably be out, if everything goes according to plan, it'll probably be out in 2020 sometime. But that's another one of those where it's like Supergirl has a show, and now it's going to have a movie here within the next couple of years. And The Flash has a show, and it's also going to have a movie. Like... Mm-hmm. That is going to be confusing to some people. Like, there are going to be some people that are going to wonder, if, like, do I have to have seen 6 seasons of The Flash to get what's going on in this movie? Well, I'm not going to go see that.
Exactly.
I haven't seen 6 years of The Flash.
I got to still catch up on Daredevil or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many superhero shows right now. And yeah, if you just start making different iterations of the same hero, it will be confusing to the consumer.
It gets confusing, and like as much as I do want to see this Todd Phillips Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie that's not going to have anything to do with the DCEU, like it's confusing that there's a Joker movie that's going to have nothing to do with the DCEU, and allegedly there's going to be another like a Joker movie that's going to come right behind this Flash movie. Like, I don't know which one's going to come out first. If I had to guess, I would say probably the Joaquin Phoenix one, just because like they're spending less money on it, probably less effects and everything. It'll probably be easier to put together. But apparently they have a Jared Leto Joker movie coming down the pipeline after that. That is going to be in the DCEU. Like,
ooh,
yeah, like where does it end?
Yeah,
like how much homework do you want just like the average moviegoer to do?
There's just 2 points I think I have to say about kind of the state of things right now, of my thoughts on what DC's doing. Number one is just that I think they're kind of acting and making decisions like they are Marvel, and that things have been as successful as Marvel. Like they're like, we're just going to make movies about these characters, even though like Superman and Batman are clearly the most famous characters they have. I mean, they're two of the most famous superheroes of all time.
Oh yeah, like neither of them have had their own movie in this universe.
Exactly.
Since 2012 I think was Man of Steel, and I want to say 2016 was BVS.
And that's kind of still like it's not an individual movie for either, but it's
right.
Still Batman.
It's really more like pre-Justice League.
Exactly.
Is really what that movie was all about.
So it's kind of like their attitude is like, well, we're already so successful. We don't have to like put stock in our more recognizable figures. We're just going to go ahead and make Aquaman and stuff like that, which is fine. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to hate on Aquaman or anything like that.
And even with Marvel, like you could argue that like, well, who was Iron Man before the movies came out? And I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of merit to that, except that Marvel Studios under Disney didn't really have the super popular characters to lean on. They didn't have Spider-Man. They didn't have the X-Men.
That is true. That
like
is very
those,
true.
And after the 90s with those cartoons, those were the most popular characters that there were. There's a reason that studios bought them up but didn't touch
Thor,
right?
Iron Man.
And
now the super famous ones, it's totally flipped.
Yeah, because Marvel did them right. I mean, I really didn't like the first two Thor movies, but he was fun to watch alongside the Avengers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Captain America: Winter Soldier is probably my favorite of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Still haven't seen Winter Soldier.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry. We are gonna get.
Why are you here right now? You should be home watching Winter Soldier.
I know. I don't know how it happened like this, but here we are.
And the first Iron Man movie was went off without a hitch, as opposed to
just so many hitches.
So many hitches. They're just drowning in hitches.
It's like if someone was driving on a road and they saw a turnoff that was just hitch, and they're like, "This looks like a good idea. Let's just go down here."
And then they get like halfway down it, and they could just double back and cut their losses and double back, but it's like, nope, we're just gonna keep on trudging through.
Here we go.
We're gonna see this through to the bitter end.
So, one thing I wanted to ask you, like the last question I want to ask you is like, do you think like there's any merit in kind of like maybe like letting the DC universe like breathe for a second? Like, since things have maybe like still do Wonder Woman 1984 because that's successful. Still do the
that's where it gets so tricky.
Yeah, because I'm just asking because
they got a good thing going with Wonder Woman.
It's not a bad franchise.
They're gonna try. DC like. There's a reason that them and Marvel are the two. Like they got great characters and great stories.
Oh yeah, and I meant bad. Like we've often been called this on. I mean, like we often feel like this in this show, but like we don't hate on the DC movies. Like I think they're not bad movies.
I think Suicide Squad is garbage. I watched it the one time.
Probably will never see it. It's
that is the one movie they've put out that I can say like it's unwatchable. Like I watched it the one time. And whenever it was over, it was just like, well, I'm glad that I can now say that I watched it, so that I finished it, and I gave it whatever of a chance. Justice League was not good, but it was watchable. Like it's a cohesive story for the most part, and you can get through it, and it's enjoyable enough, and pretty colors on the screen or whatever.
Nice.
But no, Suicide Squad was not good.
Yeah, but overall, there's good movies and good characters they're developing. So I'm not sure if they should just.
Suicide Squad could have been a good movie.
Oh yeah,
with a much different story.
Too bad because the just the general idea behind the Suicide Squad is so good. That is like such a good.
It's
story.
got potential, like just a bunch of bad guys teaming up and they have to save the day. Like then, like there's a whole lot you can do with that. But the problem is that they made it like, and that's another thing where it's like, what were you thinking, DCEU? Like even back then, like when we say it like it was so long ago and it was just
5 years.
What? Not even.
So much has happened.
Not even.
We've learned so much. Well, I don't really have that much more to say. Seems like it's kind of been a rough week for the DCU EU in general.
It's been a rough couple of weeks. I mean,
and amidst not a particularly great few years either.
Yeah, even the stuff that's not bad just gets so panned. Like the BVS theatrical edition was not great, but I don't know if it deserved the backlash that it got. And that's been the running trend with the DCEU.
Kind of gets a little more shit than maybe it deserves, but it's also not like amazing. So you're like,
yeah, I mean, it's nothing to just like jump on board this, skyrocketing ship of success. Just I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I was them at this point. Like, I mean, do you just bite the bullet and you have to recast and you just move on and just like business as usual? Because that's all you can do.
I don't know.
Like I honestly don't know what I would do if I was in their shoes.
I see like two sides of it where there could be a benefit to like stepping and being like, let's just, after we finish kind of the projects we've got going, let's step away for a minute, kind of like maybe restart, try to get some fresh vision or something like that. Or maybe they're just like one project away from kind of like getting everything going again, like one great movie away or something like that of getting a positive cycle going. I don't know.
Man, if they just have like some great creative minds that just put something amazing together that just totally explains everything.
All right.
Don't get me wrong. I'll totally give the credit where credit's due if they're able to pull that off.
All right, Warner Brothers, you listen to me. You listen to me right now. You let Boots Riley direct either a Batman or Superman movie, one of the two that he wants to do. I'm not saying that's necessarily even going to be good. I want to see it.
You let him say whatever he feels like he needs to be said.
Give him as much money as you can.
And I'm sure that whatever he feels needs to be said would vary depending on the character that he's speaking through. But you just let him say it.
Then I feel very confident I will see Chad yelling about many things after we see that movie.
After the obligatory 5 minutes of silence.
Oh, you got to have that.
Yeah. I had things to say about it immediately, if I recall correctly.
So did I. You were the first one, though. You were the first.
Yeah. I was.
You were
like,
out of the theater. I remember you were like, I don't know what I just saw, but I think I loved every minute of it.
Oh man!
For those of you at home, you can put another tally down in how we cannot go a single segment without
mentioning Sorry to Bother You. So sorry to bother you, but I think that about wraps it up. But tell us now, what do you think? You want to drop us a comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, there's a whole lot of other ways to reach out to us too. Go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe. But this has been The Minute. My name is Sam.
My name is Asher.
And thank you so much for listening.
What's up, crew? If you got any idea of what you would like for us to talk about on The Minute or on Movie Night Autopsy podcast, hit us up on the social medias. You can hit us up on Twitter at movie_autopsy. Check us out on Facebook at Movie Night Autopsy. Always feel free to email us, contact@movienightautopsy.com.